but welcome to Sunday. This is our actual last day that I'm going to be talking about the heart chakra. So I think it's a great way to kind of start and set off into your week. Take the next few minutes to just relax a little bit. Start to relax the body, release any tension. Hopefully you guys that were here for meditation aren't tense. It's that opportunity to let go of whatever kind of things are chasing you around today. Take a nice deep breath in. Open the mouth and sigh the breath out. And then take one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. For the first couple breaths, feel this tactile sensation of the breath moving through the body. The inhale that fills the belly, that hand rises just a little bit. The breath tracking all the way up to the rib cage, to the chest, and that hand there rising a little bit as you get to the heart space. And then the opposite, coming down all the way back down to the belly and starting again. Feeling this sensation of the breath traveling and moving. So for the last couple weeks, especially for those of you that have not been here, we've been talking about the chakra system, which is a system of energy centers in the body that range from the base of the spine all the way up to the crown of the head. We've reached week 4, which is the center of the chakra system, actually the center of the body, the heart chakra, Anahata. And as you might suspect, the heart chakra aligns to love, most certainly, but several other things as well, also to air and breath, balance, relationships, healing, and unity. And probably one of the most interesting aspects is that healing aspect. We often talk about yoga as a healing practice or meditation as a healing practice. And here in this heart chakra, we're kind of right in the thick of it, that opportunity to heal and forgive, release, let go, compassion, and kindness. And so I'm going to be reading a little bit today from this book titled Wheels of Life. It's a classic guide to the chakra system. It's one of the books that I read and come back to over and over again. It's a great reference. And the text says we've now reached the central point of the chakra system. Even in our language, the heart refers to the center of things, the essence, the kernel of truth, as in to go to the heart of the matter. This is our spiritual center, our core, the place that unites forces from above and below, and from within and without. The task of this chakra 4 is to integrate and balance the various aspects of our being. In so doing, it brings a radiant sense of wholeness to the entire organism that is ourselves, an acceptance of the exquisite interpretation of both spirit and matter. Within this sense of wholeness lies the seed of inner peace. This heart chakra is the center of love. Now, spirit and matter are combined. Shiva and Shakti are united within the heart. In their eternal dance of creation, their love radiates through all existence, giving it the permanence that allows the universe to continue. This love that we experience at the level of the heart chakra is distinctly different from the more passionate love of the second chakra. That sacral chakra, that sacral love is object-oriented. The passion is stimulated by the presence of a particular person. But in this fourth chakra, love is not dependent on outside stimulation, but rather experienced within as a state of being. In this way, it radiates outwards, bringing love and compassion to whatever comes into our field. It is a divine presence of empathetic connection rather than an extension of our need or desire. Hopefully, through the force of will, our needs have been fulfilled or transcended. Love can emerge with the deep sense of peace that comes from lack of need, with a joyous acceptance of our place among all things, and the radiance that comes from inner harmony. Unlike the changing nature of the second chakra with its transitory passions, love from the heart is of an enduring quality, eternal and constant. As those words sink in, allow yourself to really just feel in your heart exactly what those words bring up, what they trigger for you. Maybe something physical, a gut reaction, maybe something a little more cerebral, or maybe nothing specific. Allow yourself to focus there for the next few breaths and just feel and experience whatever you feel and experience. We'll take 10 more long, smooth breaths here. Breathing into that heart space, breathing out of that heart space. And maybe taking a few moments to imagine this energy center of the heart chakra, a brilliant green light circling in that heart space, in the chest space, right underneath that hand. Couple more breaths here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one fills you from the belly to the ribs to the chest. Exhale, release everything, chest to ribs to belly. When you're ready, begin to find a little bit of movement. Fingers wiggle and toes wiggle. Maybe the head gently moves from side to side. And then the next phase is to bring those knees up towards the heart and the thighs towards the belly, wrapping your arms around the shins and squeezing in. If you're on a prop, you may want to begin to get rid of that prop. We're going to just find this little bit of movement back and forth, rocking side to side on the sacrum, maybe rocking in circles left or rocking in circles right. And then when you're ready to transition, and you're welcome to move here as long as you'd like, but when you're ready to transition, roll all the way onto one side or the other, and then make your way up into a hands and knees tabletop position. And find a little bit of movement there before we move into our first posture. Maybe you find a few cat-cows or just some shifting of the hips from side to side, or pressing forward or pressing back. Shake the head yes or shake the head no. When you're ready to transition the first posture, bring the back to a flat, neutral spine and start to walk the hands forward on the mat. This is called melting heart, or if you're in a more active yang class, it's called puppy dog pose. So you're walking the hands forward, eventually letting your heart rest down on the mat or towards the mat. Doesn't necessarily have to touch. Allowing the forehead to come down. Yeah, so the hips are kind of up in the air. Your butt's kind of sticking up in the air, and the whole front part of the body is melting down to the mat. So it's a little bit of a back bend. You'll feel that little bit of compression start in the back. It's a little deeper than you would typically take a child's pose with that little bit of compression. Take a couple breaths wherever you've landed right now, and then maybe you walk yourself a little bit further, or you press that heart a little bit further down towards the mat. And then take a couple breaths and see how that feels for you. If it feels okay, then stay here. Allow the eyes to close. If the arms feel okay out long, then stay there, or you can stack the forearms and let your chin rest there, or take the elbows to the mat and bring the hands behind the head so the palms touch and the hands kind of come to the nape of the neck. Any of those are fine, or anything else that you're drawn to. If it feels like it's way too much, you can always bring that bolster up and slide it underneath your chest for a little bit of extra support, bringing the floor a little bit closer. And then find that place where you can stay, where you can hang out, where you can just be for the next couple minutes. And as we make our way through practice today, I'm going to be offering you some affirmations. Affirmations are short positive statements of future expectations or future setting of mind and space. And so as I offer each of those to you, maybe you choose to repeat them to yourself, or maybe you choose to just let the essence kind of be with you. And if they don't resonate with you, then you can do something else. You can just breathe or come up with something else. The first affirmation I offer for this pose is, I am fully open to giving love. I am fully open to giving love. Maybe you repeat that to yourself, or maybe you just feel the essence. Allow yourself to notice what comes up, how you respond physically, emotionally. And then just simply breathe and let yourself feel it, whatever it is. We're not necessarily trying to force ourselves into some specific experience here. You might have an experience of something specific, or you might not. Whatever comes up, whatever happens is exactly what's meant to be, so just let yourself be with it. Just about one more minute here. Allowing those breaths to carry you through deep and full and easy and free. If the mind starts to drift, if the focus starts to drift, then just bring yourself back to the breath or to that affirmation. Just about 10 more breaths here. And that's just to give you an idea of time and space. You don't need to count. You don't even really need to focus on time passing. Just let yourself continue to be. Last 2 breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale and fill all the way up. And then open mouth, exhale, let it go, signaling to your body it's time to transition. Start to slowly press your way back to a child's pose. Hips to heels, knees wherever you'd like for them to be. Knees together gives you a little bit more stretch through the low back. Knees apart provides a little bit more sensation in the hips and the glutes. Allowing the arms to reach forward to start, fingertips reaching towards the front of your mat, and then maybe deciding to change that orientation of the arms, stacking the forearms with the chin or the forehead there, or even taking the arms back behind you, hands back by your hips, balancing just a little bit on the forehead. Before you sink down completely, allow that forehead to gently press into the mat and then let it roll from side to side. Stimulating the pituitary gland a little bit and just giving yourself that little bit of acupressure. And come back to a still place. Breathe in. And breathe out. Child's pose is a very introspective pose. Take your attention down to that heart space, the chest, but think about that heart space being all the way through the body, from the front through to the back, to those back ribs, to the back shoulder blades. And then begin to think about that entire space as an energy center, maybe that little eddying green light. Green is the color of this particular chakra in the yogic tradition, even though we typically think of the heart space or anything to do with love as being red or pink. In this particular, and it's green. As you breathe into that heart space, think about that energy flowing. And as you breathe out of that heart space, imagine that that green light energy is traveling throughout the entire body, around the ribs, around the shoulder blades, out to each fingertip, and then from the crown of the head all the way down to the toes. The affirmation I offer for this posture is, I am fully open to receiving love. Giving first and then receiving. I am fully open to receiving love. Taking what you need from that affirmation and then letting the rest of it go. If it resonates, hold on to it. Breathe with it. If it doesn't, take a part or none. Allow yourself to find your place. And then breathe in. And breathe out. Regardless of whatever else you do, affirmation or no affirmation, continue to let the breath resonate deep and full, long, smooth. Using that breath as a tool to focus the energy of the mind. I am fully open to receiving love. Just about another 10 breaths here. Last 2 breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Final breath, fill up. Open mouth, exhale, signaling that transition. Slowly making your way up onto all fours to hands and knees. Finding some movement here. Moving the body in ways that start to release some of that heat that we've built up. In that melting heart, we get that little bit of compression in the low back. Child's pose was just about the opposite, a little rounding in the back. The cat-cow is a perfect complement to that, dropping the belly, lifting the heart, arching the spine, and tucking the chin. Or maybe just the hips move or the head moves. Or any other movement or shape that you can dream up here that would feel good in your body. Doesn't have to look any specific way. Doesn't even have to feel any specific way. It just needs to feel good. Two more breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. And let it go. Start to make your way all the way down onto your belly on the mat. We're going to come into a Sphinx pose. Forearms and palms of the hands on the mat with the elbows just right underneath the shoulders. Legs long behind you. Step the feet about hips distance apart to start, or they can go as far apart as the mat, as if that feels better, releasing some of the sensation in the low back. And then focus first on lengthening from the crown of the head to the toes. Really stretch and lengthen the body. And then lift that heart up just a little bit. You can adjust the lift of the body by pressing the arms forward or pulling them back. Make sure that that back doesn't feel too crunchy. And if it does, slide the arms forward a little bit to release some of the tension. Breathe in, lift that heart a tiny bit more. As you exhale, lower the chin down towards the chest, taking an opportunity just to stretch into the back of the neck. You can rotate the chin gently side to side, getting a little bit into the side of the neck and all of those muscles around the back part of the neck if that feels good. Or you can just let the head hang and stretch and lengthen those muscles through the whole back of the neck. All of those tendons, all that fascia back there. Movement or stillness, either one is fine. Whatever calls to you for this posture. And then for those of you that are searching for a little bit more sensation, and there's always somebody who wants to take it a little further, you can slide your arms forward and pull your elbows off the mat. It's going to lift you up a little bit higher and add a little more compression to that low back. So if it's too much, allow yourself to lower back down or stay up for a while and then lower down and then come back up. Again, it's all about finding that balance between effort and ease, between too much and not enough, and allowing your body to dictate exactly what that is. Reclaiming the breath if you've lost it. And think about how lifted that heart is. The affirmation I offer here is, my heart chakra is empowered by love. My heart chakra is empowered by love. And that empowering love leads to all the rest of those things, right? The relationships, the healing, the balance. And that's the reason why love is kind of at the top of that list. Love is an enabler of all the rest of those things. Breathing in and out of that heart space. Breathing in and out of that empowerment here in the heart. Another minute or so here, just breathing in and breathing out. But reminder that you are always in control of this practice. And so if a posture isn't feeling good to you, or if it gets to be too much, you're always welcome to come out of the posture, take a child's pose, or just lay on your mat and rest if that feels better in your body. And as long as you can feel some sensation, and as long as you can breathe slowly and easily, then you're typically in an okay place. Allowing yourself to find that sense of stillness, except maybe just that little bit of movement with the neck. Or maybe you've come to a place of stillness there too. Ten more breaths. We're down to the last two. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, belly and ribs and chest. Open mouth, exhale, let that breath go. Slow and easy we transition. If you're in that seal pose, up on the palms, slowly come down to the forearms. If you're on the forearms, slowly come down to your belly and take those arms out to a cactus shape at the side with bent elbows. Bring the feet a little bit closer together and just lay here for a moment, one cheek or the other on the mat. Can you feel your heart beating against the mat? Can you feel that beat echoing through the body from the toes to the crown and fingertip to fingertip and everything in between? Slow the breath down enough that you can feel every single heartbeat. When you're ready, we will transition into our next posture. For this one, the arms stay exactly as they are in a cactus or goalpost shape. Turn onto your right cheek so your gaze goes over towards the left, and then that left palm is going to slide up so that it comes up near your rib cage with the elbow bent up towards the ceiling. It's like a cobra arm. When you're ready, start to press into that left hand and press your body up and over so you're stretching into that right shoulder. And so it's possible your left hip may stack on your right hip. You may take that left foot and set it down behind you, or any kind of combination thereof too, right? You may not go that far, you may go a little bit further. So you're looking for the place where you find sensation in that right shoulder. And then notice how it feels. If you want to take the sensation a little bit deeper, you can walk those fingertips forward towards the front of the mat. That's typically going to add a little bit more sensation. Or to take the sensation a little less, you can walk the fingertips back towards the body, so there's less of an angle in that arm. Play around with it until you find the place that's sustainable, and then when you do, the eyes close, the body relaxes, and you resume those long, smooth breaths. Breath in and breath out. One of those tenets of this heart chakra is healing. And as I said when I was opening, that seems to be one of the most apropos things for yoga, since we often talk about healing and forgiveness. And forgiveness is oftentimes a precursor to healing. And so this affirmation for this side of the pose is, I forgive myself. I forgive myself. It doesn't have to be for anything specific. It can just be kind of a general statement, a general affirmation, or maybe there's something specific that you have in mind. This is also a really good one that you can use along with your breath. As you inhale, I forgive, and as you exhale, myself. Inhale, I forgive. Exhale, myself. Noticing what comes up, what's triggered, what is your visceral response, if any. Breathe into that heart space. Breathe out of that heart space. And feel that sensation of that whole heart space, that whole left side of the body peeling open, even as you put pressure onto that right shoulder. That sensation building on one side and a sense of opening on the other side. And as with all these kind of two-sided postures, we'll do both sides, but it always feels interesting to compare one side to the other, how it feels on one side versus how it feels on the other side. Just about a minute more here. And reminder, you can ease that sensation by drawing the elbow and the hand back, or add a little bit more by walking those fingertips forward, adjusting the tip of the body one side to the other. Breathing slowly and deeply, 10 more breaths. Two more breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Final breath, full inhale, fill up. Open mouth, exhale. Slowly start to bring yourself out of this, bringing the body back down, belly, chest to the mat. Arms at that goalpost shape. And just rest here for a few minutes, few moments. Breathing, maybe feeling that heartbeat, maybe just feeling that sense of the body pressing into the mat. Allowing that heat that we built up in the right shoulder to just slowly seep out. When you're ready to transition, the gaze will go to the right, bringing the head to the left cheek. That right hand will come up, palm of the hand up near the rib cage, elbow bent up towards the ceiling, and then use the pressure of that hand to maneuver yourself onto the side, putting sensation into that left shoulder. Feeling into it, feeling for the differences. And maybe you start off in almost an identical shape to the one you had on the other side, and then you adjust from there. Not necessarily focusing on being in the exact same shape, but rather focusing on being in a similar sensation point. Feeling similar to one side or the other. The left side of the body pressing down, right side of that body, the rib cage, the waist, the hips spinning open. The affirmation here, I forgive others. I forgive others. And again, this is a really good one that you can meld into your breath as you inhale, I forgive. And as you exhale, others. And maybe something specific comes to mind, or it's just more of a general statement. But noticing how that sense of forgiveness feels in the body and in the mind and the subtleties of the body. This heart chakra is a very subtle chakra. Love is not necessarily something concrete, nor is forgiveness or healing. And so oftentimes the results are more subtle than they are specific. Whatever they are, allow yourself to feel them. Allow yourself to feel it. And then simply breathe into that space of the heart. Maybe you make those adjustments with the arm. Whatever adjustments feel right. Breath is a powerful tool. We talk about breath a lot in yoga, but if you're truly focusing on that breath, maybe adding an affirmation or adding a mantra, there's typically little opportunity to think about what else is going on outside of that breath. It can be all-encompassing, all-focusing, and that's really the goal. Is to allow that breath to be first and foremost, and everything else just to kind of recede back into the background. Breathe into that heart space. Breathe out of that heart space. I forgive others. 10 more breaths. Last 2. Breathe in. Breathe out. Full belly breath all the way up to the chest, the heart. Fill it up. Open mouth. Exhale. Slowly start to come out of this, coming back to your belly with ease, with grace. Arms are at that T or cactus, just resting here for another few moments. Breathing in and breathing out, feeling that last little bit of connection of heart to mat. heart to mat to floor to earth. That deep connection all the way from your core down to the core of the earth. And then as you're ready, come on up into hands and knees. Maybe find a little bit of movement here. We're eventually going to make our way all the way down onto our backs, and just make sure that as you get onto your backs, you have a block that you can reach over and grab easily. But feel free to move in any way that feels good first, shifting side to side. Taking as much time as you need. Once you're on your back, draw the knees into the chest, thighs to the belly. Take the palms of the hands and just put them right on the knees. Think about pulling the belly button in towards the spine so you're firming up that whole belly, and then rock your knees around in a circle to the left and a circle to the right. So feeling that movement starting right down there, kind of at the belly button level, and then feeling the movement all the way up into the chest and all the way down into the pelvis and the thighs. Left and right, circling each way. This is very similar to if you're in a seated position and doing that around the world, or the belly churning. It kind of gets the whole torso involved. Everything moving and shifting, massaging the internal organs, massaging all the way from the heart down to the liver and the spleen. Coming on back to center, and let the soles of the feet come down to the mat, knees bent up towards the ceiling. Reach over and grab your block and lift up the hips. Just slide that block underneath the hips for a supported bridge pose. And so maybe you start off on the lowest setting of that supported bridge, or the lowest setting of the block for the supported bridge pose, or maybe it's a practice you've experienced before, so you put it on the medium height setting, or wherever you feel most comfortable. Letting the hips relax onto that support of the block, maybe moving the hips around a little bit or shifting the block if you don't land in just the right place the first time. Allowing the upper body to relax completely. The arms kind of fall out to the side wherever they comfortably land. The collarbones spreading open and the shoulder blades just taking that little bit of dip towards each other. Chin comes down towards the chest just the tiniest little bit, so the back of the neck smooths out and gets long. And then think about the feet and legs. They can stay exactly where they are. You can also lengthen the legs long in front of you to get a deeper stretch through the belly and into those hip flexors and into the quads even maybe. Or bring the soles of the feet together to touch, the knees out wide, getting that sensation into the inner thighs. Any of those is workable. Any of those is fine. Once you find your resting shape, allow the breath to settle into that shape. Every shape has a little bit of a different impact on the breathing, and in this particular one, this is an inversion, supported inversion, but an inversion nonetheless. The hips are just a little bit higher than the heart. The head is probably just a little bit higher than the heart, depending on exactly where you've landed. So this gives the opportunity to allow the blood flow to be just a little bit different. All the advantages of an inversion without the same stress on the joints or the same physical impact on the body, just an opportunity to allow that fascia to open and lengthen. The affirmation I offer here I am fulfilling my heart's desire. I am fulfilling my heart's desire. In our Yoga Nidra practice, heart's desire is called a sankalpa. And it's one of the primary tenets of Yoga Nidra. Kind of honing in on what it is that you're wanting to obtain, and then focusing on that desire as you move through a practice. And so maybe the focus here is on that actual sankalpa, that actual heart's desire, whatever that may be for you. Feel it in your heart, feel it in your mind, feel it in your gut. Just feel it. Breathe in that sense of want for your heart's desire. And then breathe out that sense of fulfillment, expectation, knowing that it's out there for you just to reach out and grab. Slow and easy breaths. The mind wanders, bring it back to that breath, bring it back to that sankalpa. I am fulfilling my heart's desire. We'll take 10 more breaths here. Last 2 breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Full inhale. Open mouth. Exhale. Beautiful. Begin to bring the soles of the feet to the mat with the knees bent if you've moved them. And then lift the hips up and slide that block out, set it to the side. While you find a little bit of movement here, maybe bringing the knees into the chest and rocking side to side, or rolling those hips in a circle to the left or a circle to the right. I'm going to tell you that our last pose will be our full heart opener. And so there's a couple different ways that you can take this. You can take the block horizontally and put it right about at the middle of the back, and then kind of open your upper body around it. You can also use your bolster either lined up with your torso or horizontally against the torso to open up through that whole top part of the body. So you choose whatever you want to choose. You can also take that bolster and lift the back end of it up with a block and give it a little bit of an incline. And if anybody needs help getting into a shape, I see most of you have already popped your way into a shape. But if you need help getting into a shape, just let me know and I'm happy to come and help you. And again, if that doesn't resonate with you, feel free to take anything you'd like. This is going to be our last posture today. And then I will offer that you will eventually be able to stay in this shape for Shavasana if you'd like, or you can change into something else. Yeah, if anybody's chilly and they want a blanket to cover with, happy to bring you an extra one if you need another one. Take a breath in. Exhale, release. Can you relax completely? Allow the eyes to close, allow the upper body to find ease. Maybe the legs find a different place, soles of the feet together, legs long. Begin to relax the body, beginning at the crown of the head. Allowing that sense of warmth, of lightness to travel down to the muscles of the forehead, to the eyes, smoothing out the cheeks, relaxing the joint of the jaw. Making a little bit of space between the molars and letting the tongue just fall away from the roof of the mouth. Back of the neck is long and smooth. Maybe the chin tilts down towards the chest just a little bit. Broad through the collarbones, arms out to the side, landing wherever comfortable. Softening through that torso, beginning at the heart space, front and back. And working all the way down to the hips, and the glutes and the belly. Relaxing through the thighs and the lower legs. The arms. And then all the way out to the fingertips and the tips of the toes. The entire body enveloped in that radiant sensation, that green energy of the heart chakra. And then I offer you your last affirmation here. I choose joy. I choose joy. Letting that affirmation be with you, be part of you. The heart, the breath. And if you're happy in your place, if you want to stay here, be here. But if you feel the need to change into something different, feel free to do that too. Maybe the bolster comes underneath the knees or along the legs, or something else changes for you to find a place where you can surrender completely and allow yourself to relax and release for your time of rest for Shavasana. Sliding easily into that place and then into a strong, smooth breath. Taking this time to rest and restore, to release. Prepare for the rest of your evening, for the week ahead, by just letting yourself find that sense of love, that sense of contentment and healing and compassion, all of those things that fill the heart chakra. Love is the natural relationship between healthy living things. We need only to believe that it's around us at all times and in all things to find it within ourselves. As you leave the confines of these four walls tonight, I hope that you take that sense of love and compassion, of healing, especially that for yourself, with you as you make your way out into the world. carrying that sense of love and heart in your heart, and sharing it with others that you meet. As you begin to bring awareness back, do so slowly. Starting with the layer just above the skin, feeling the sensation of the air drifting across the skin, maybe the feeling of the clothing touching the skin. And then awareness to the skin itself, the tissues beneath the skin, awareness to the bones, and to that central core, that heart that makes you uniquely you. Bringing your awareness back fully and completely, and adding movements when you're ready. Fingers wiggling, toes wiggling. Letting those movements gain in size, gain in dimension as the body wakes up. Maybe adding a full body stretch or some movement of the head, movement of the knees, or whatever feels good. And then eventually finding your way onto one side or the other. Finding that fetal position where you can rest for a few breaths. Begin the process of reconnecting. When you're ready, make your way all the way up to a seat on the mat, sitting tall, eyes closed, hands at heart center with the thumbs gently pressing into the sternum. Feel that beat of the heart. Our last breath we take together as a community. Exhale completely. Breathe in, fill the belly and the ribs all the way up to that heart space and then a little bit further. Pause for the span of one heartbeat and then another. Exhale, bowing in, honoring each other and honoring yourself, just like I honor each and every one of you for being here, for spending time on your mat, for caring for yourself on this Sunday evening. As always, I wish you a week ahead filled with all the goodness and all the love and all the light. Peace be with you as you go. Namaste.